This is Cash 22, the House on Fire, a very special telecast right here on ET Now. I'm Supriya, Shrinate. And remember, the din inside the Parliament on day 7 of the winter session was just as high-pitched as it was on day 1. While the Prime Minister did attend the session in the Rajya Sabha, there was no let-up in the ruckus raised by the opposition, who believed that he should have been present for a larger amount of time. There were adjournments, and then, of course, the Rajya Sabha was adjourned for the day. A fiery exchange, but did see former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh raise in the House, and he called this a monumental management failure. He also said this was an organized loot and, of course, a very organized plunder. But let's take this across to three very special guests who are joining us right here on ET Now to discuss, debate and understand where is Indian democracy at this stage as far as Cash 22 is concerned. Sushmita Dev, spokesperson of the Congress, member of the Lok Sabha, D. Raja, CPI leader, and of course Sambit Patra, who represents the Treasury benches and the ruling party here. Thanks very much each one of you for being with us. I don't know if Sushmita can hear me, and I'm going to give her the benefit of doubt till she gets ready. Sambit, let's begin with you. You represent the Treasury benches. The message was that the Prime Minister should have been present in the House. He was. You did have the former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh rise on the occasion. He's a noted economist. And for him to say that this is an organized loot and a legalized blunder and monumental mismanagement undertaken, those are harsh words indeed.
In fact, I can right now see the kind of chuckle that you have, Supriya, on your face while you were reading these words. And that's what is the effect all across the country. With all due respect to the former Prime Minister, definitely he is a good man, I would say, Dr. Manmohan Singh. But he, in fact, had those monumental, blunderous words today when he said that demonetization is nothing but organized loot of the country. Mr. Manmohan Singh should be reminded of the fact that organized loot was during his tenure, under his very nose. And when this question was asked as to why organized loot of 2G, Colgate and CWG was taking place, the answer of Mr. Manmohan Singh then was, I was not kept in loop, I was not aware. And again when he was asked on the floor of the Parliament, we would all remember the historic answer that Manmohan Singh gave. The historic answer was, Mere hazaro jawab se achhe hain, meri khamoshi. Then he has chosen to be quiet. He chose to be quiet, and today suddenly he breaks his quiet to say what is absolutely wrong. I was shocked in the second count when he says that demonetization is a monumental blunder. Monumental blunder is when the Prime Minister submits to, in fact, dictations by a particular family and does not carry forward what he probably would have wished to carry forward. Monumental blunder was loot of approximately 12 to 14 lakh crore during his prime ministership. The CAG has its report. The cases went to Supreme Court. These cases are proved. People are in fact being punished as well for that. And the third important thing, which I cannot believe in my ears, and Mr. Manmohan Singh, Dr. Manmohan Singh rather, went ahead to say that Prime Minister Mr. Modi says on demonetization that this is for the larger benefit of the country in the years to come. He says that at the long run, we would all be dead. I mean, this is not the sign of a visionary man. A visionary man always thinks of the future. A visionary man always tries to build the country ready for the times to come. Mr. Manmohan Singh saying that we would all be dead tomorrow. Does he say that all these summaries, all these seminars, all these discussions that we have on climate change, all that we are having on terrorism today is of no use because at the end we all would be dead? That's a very negative way of thinking. I'm so sorry to state that I never expected this from Dr. Manmohan Singh.
No, Sambit, I think we're missing the point there. I think what Manmohan Singh said was he quoted John Keynes, and he did say that in the long run we're all dead, and who knows, the jury is still out on this. So I don't think we should misquote the man here. I buy your arguments in points that under his watch and as Prime Minister there were many scams that happened, and that's the argument that the BJP is throwing at the Congress party evening. So I understand that and I appreciate it. I'm going to take that as a question. But I think on the point about us being long dead in the long run is really quoting the Keynesian economist John Keynes. But Sushmita Dev, the point is really coming your way. It was indeed a speech that Manmohan Singh made. Everybody took notice. He led the opposition's charge. He's a very noted economist, has been a central banker, has been a finance minister, and of course is one of the most respected economists around. For him to get up and say that this is organized loot and legalized plunder, the fingers will obviously be pointed at the Congress party because there were numerous scams that happened while he held the August office.
See, Supriya, when I listen to Sambit, Patra or the Honorable Finance Minister today, because he did give a soundbite in the Parliament, or to some extent you, if I may say so, it's almost as if we are in a pre-2014 stage. I think it's time for the nation to realize, and for the spokesperson of the BJP to realize, and the Honorable Finance Minister to realize that they are not in the opposition anymore. So they cannot continue to cover their blunders by saying 2G happened and 3G happened. People of India have given them a mandate, and people of India gave them a mandate for a reason. Well, you yourself said Dr. Manmohan Singh, he has been the Finance Minister, he has been the RBI Governor, he has been the Prime Minister of India, he has been the Finance Secretary, and he stood in the House today to address the concerns of the people. See, entire country, including Dr. Manmohan Singh, has reiterated that not a single person, right from the Parliament of India to the streets of India, can deny that if a government takes a step to eliminate black money, especially in terror, etc., we stand by them. But even Modi ji in his own app admitted that there's some inconvenience. What is the extent of that inconvenience? 65 people have died. That's what Dr. Manmohan Singh said. And I also want to point out there is a reason why he is calling this salute, because there is a record to show the surge of deposits that happened in September 2016. And if anybody had prior information of this, this is the biggest scam India has ever seen. That's why we are asking for a JPC. So please, BJP, you are not in the opposition anymore. Please spend some time justifying your policies rather than criticizing the former governments. That's not what the nation expects out of you.
All right, that's not what the nation expects out of you, and I'm going to throw that question to Sambit Patra in just a while. But I also have D. Raja on my show this evening, and Mr. Raja, you quoted Manmohan Singh to me in the House when I met you there, and you, of course, talking about him here. The BJP has thrown back at the opposition. Sushmita Dev has defended that, saying that the BJP is no longer in the opposition, should try and defend its own policies instead of pointing fingers at what happened previously. But because you've been quoting Manmohan Singh all day today, it's important that I ask you that the left did support the UPA-1 government. It's not as if things were absolutely hunky-dory, absolutely clean at that point in time.
Yes, it is an issue, but to put the things on record, we were not part of UPA-2 government. We were part of the UPA coalition from outside. We were supporting the government. That time also we were not part of the government in UPA-1 also. In fact, we were the left. The communists were critical of several policies of Dr. Manmohan Singh government also. Having said that, yes, during the UPA-2 regime there were many scams, including the spectrum, coal scams, and for which Mr. Manmohan Singh is being directly questioned also. That's another thing. What I am trying to say, he is former Prime Minister, he is former Finance Minister, he is a former RBI Governor. He knows how the monetary management of the country is done. From that position only I referred to him, I quoted him. He said it is organized loot and legalized plunder, and it is a blunder on the part of the government. Then administration wise, it is a blunder, and in fact many people are questioning the legality of this decision, whether this decision has the backing of any authority of law. There are several questions which need to be answered.
In fact, the left has moved court on that, and I'm going to come back to you and ask you that. But Sambit, Patra, there are arguments that have been made by both Sushmita Dev and D. Raja, which is that the BJP can no longer behave like an opposition. You've got to defend, you've got to explain your policies, you've perhaps got to do soul searching. You can't keep pointing fingers at what the previous government did and what happened under Manmohan Singh and not defend your position, because a lot of people out there believe that there is an element of callousness as far as the hardships imposed on the Colombian people are concerned. 65 people have died. Who's going to take the blame for that?
Now, I'll be explaining all this in a while, but the most important issue is today we are discussing the debate on the floor of the Rajya Sabha, where the former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh made a statement. And this statement is of importance, and that's the reason as to why we have to dissect the statement and we have to keep the truth in front of the people. Dr. Manmohan Singh saying that this is a monumental blunder needs to be reminded of the fact that monumental blunder was what we in fact inherited when we came into power. Monumental blunder, my good friend from the Congress party, Sushmita Dev, in fact was saying that Manmohan Singh is a man of great credibility. Well, yes, he is a man of great learning. He was the finance secretary, he was the RBI governor. No doubt he is a well-known economist, but despite all this,
Sambit,
the tenure of Dr. Manmohan Singh as the Prime Minister, in fact, saw country's economy in plunges. We had 2 consecutive years when the GDP was running at 4.8%, and that was a plunder. So what is the use of all those degrees if you do not put your education for the benefit of the country? Secondly, when you say the 65 deaths, to this I would answer specifically that when this question, remember the opposition wanted an obituary and a resolution on the 65 death. What did the chair, what did Mr. Kurian say from the chair? Mr. Kurian and the chair said that no, the chair cannot allow this to be categorized as deaths due to demonetization because there's no proof to it, in the sense that all the numbers cannot be attached to demonetization. Death, autopsies have to be performed, reasons have to be given, and suo moto obituary on the floor of the House cannot be done. These are not my words, these are the word of the chair. So naturally we should not try to project as if as if BJP is responsible for the ills. BJP has a greater intention. The government's intention is to curb black money. And well, yes, there are certain inconveniences. Rightly pointed out, the Prime Minister has also agreed that there are certain inconveniences, and that is the reason as to why we are calling upon the opposition, come use your experience to give your, suggestions for the solution. We will buy from those suggestions, and we will see to it that we move in a positive direction.
Sambit, my question was really about the callousness in New Delhi, about the hardships being faced. But Sushmita Dev, because you made this point about lives being lost, and Sambit's argument doesn't really cut eyes with me, that yes, but there is a moral authority on the political class today. I mean, those people have died, whether you believe it or not, due to a cash crunch. We can talk about an autopsy later, so that doesn't cut eyes with me. But Sushmita Dev, I really want to talk about the larger point here. Yes, there is hardship. Yes, people have to queue up. But you know, this is perhaps the shock therapy that India needed for the kind of black money that exists in our system.
See, Supriya, I mean, these are facts, okay? So, what did the Prime Minister of India know before he implemented this policy? He knew that 80% of the cash in circulation consists of 500 rupees and 100 rupees. Prime Minister of India had enough information to know that only 6% of that cash is black. Rest of the money, black money, is parked in property, gold, etc. Okay, he says this is the first step and I'm going to take further steps. All that Dr. Manmohan Singh is trying to tell the Prime Minister of India, that what have you done? You have pulled out 86% of the cash from the economy to attack the 6% of that cash which is black money. Okay, very good. Now, after having done that, after telling the nation, after addressing the nation on a national, all the channels telecasted Prime Minister's address to the nation, he says, don't worry, have faith in me, I have planned this properly, we are going to get there. What unfolds? They have come up with numerous regulations. I don't think RBI has had such great loss of credibility since independence that it has had today. Did the Prime Minister of India and his team did not know that people will need money for marriages? Did they not know that the farmer is going to start sowing for the Rabi season? Did the Prime Minister of India not know that people will need money to go to hospitals? I mean, the simple question or the simple issue Dr. Manmohan Singh has raised is you have managed it badly. Everybody stands by the Prime Minister in his fight for black money, but everybody in the same breath agrees that this has been badly managed. So all that the former Prime Minister is trying to tell the current Prime Minister, well done, bold step, but sorry, you made a mess of it. He starts by saying, I support the intent of the Prime Minister. But even the Prime Minister's own app is saying, do you mind the convenience if I eradicate black money? Obviously, anybody with common sense will reply, no, we don't mind. But the question is, all this was avoidable. That's what the opposition has been saying, and that too the Prime Minister is not willing to hear or come to the House. And he must hear it, Supriya, because he treated this like his baby and a one-man show. There was no finance minister in the picture. There was no RBI governor in the picture. So if you want to take the credibility of this show, you jolly well be accountable for what's happening because of this show.
I buy that point, and I see a finger raised by Sambit Patra. And so, Sambit, I am going to throw this to you. Yes, I will. But I'm also going to add two questions of mine. That if this is your baby, you take the brick bats that come with it as well. It perhaps could have been better managed. So don't you stand corrected there that, yes, it's a very nobly intended move that you've done, but had to be better managed. And the other part is, your senior most economist, Arvind Subramanian, did not know about it, and there is a lot of face loss for the RBI at this stage. The conspicuous silence of Urjit Patel is being questioned by many commentators there.
The astonishing part over here, and I'll be very candid in admitting the astonishing part, is that most of the people who are into debates and discussions, and many of the so-called high-class people, high-class in the sense that doesn't mean the class difference, high-class suited, booted people, I would say, are the ones who are criticizing it. But most of the people who are really facing the hardship on the street are the ones who are understanding the intention, and despite the fact that they are facing the inconvenience, they are standing with the Prime Minister and they are standing with this decision because they want to see the country change. And this is where I would beg to differ, saying that Sushmita Dev is a young parliamentarian. I wish her very good for all her life. D. Raja, who is my neighbor in fact, is a very good man with all good intentions, I believe. But the best part is, we all knew that India is corrupt, India should change. We all have been speaking to each other, when will India change? When will we have a booming economy? When will we become a Singapore or probably a US? We all knew the answer, but no one had the courage to take the first step. Here is the Prime Minister. Look, remember one thing over here, Supriya. It is not that Prime Minister Modi's popularity had declined and he had to do some kind of dramatic step taking so that his popularity booms again. He was at the top. He is at the top of his popularity. Despite that, he takes this courageous step with all the risks attended, only to improvise upon the country's economy, only to curb on black money, to fulfill the promise that he had made to the people of India. This is an absolutely bold, courageous step. Well, yes, I said there are certain incumbent inconvenience, but remember, he has asked a time of 50 days. The common man on the street is ready to give these 50 days. I believe duty of all of us. I'm not criticizing anyone, but I would say when history of this country is written, we should all be seen standing on the right side of it. As far as left is concerned, I'll attach a rhetoric to D. Raja. I would say there's a famous saying for the left, where there is left, there is nothing left of economy. And we have seen a number of examples. We have seen Bengal, we have seen Kerala. Please, this is our time now. And to Sushmita Dev, I would say, I would remind her of the famous speech of Manmohan Singh that he delivered on the floor of Parliament on 24th June 1991. He said, by quoting, I believe, Mr. Hugo, he said, "No power in this world can stop an idea whose time has come." And today I re-quote Manmohan Singh by saying the idea of a corruptless India, an idea of curbing black money, an idea of crushing the terror fund, an idea of suffocating Naxalism has to dawn upon India, and no power in this world can stop. People are ready to face the small inconveniences. Sushmita Dev,
Sambit,
D. Raja, if you have any solutions, please suggest us. We are ready to accept that.
Sushmita Dev, is this an idea whose time has come? Because my own sense is, and something which your former Finance Minister Chidambaram says, have we demonized cash? Are we making cash out to be this demon? And that's the question that I'm going to throw to policymakers if I meet them this evening. But have we made cash to be the bad boy in transactions? Sushmita Dev?
See, I'll tell you, Supriya, let me keep it simple rather than rhetorical. We all accept that corruption is a problem in this country, and there are enough rankings out there to show where India stands. Now the question is, corruption is the infection. Now you want to cure the infection. Prime Minister Modi has conducted a blood transfusion, okay, without curing the infection. Now he wants to change the blood in my system and inject me with new blood without curing the infection. And that too, he doesn't have enough supply of new blood. That's what he's done. That's the simple point. We are all with this government when it comes to fighting corruption. Why don't you first start by appointing a Lokpal, which the Supreme Court is repeatedly reminding you of. So you can't have your cake and eat it too. And Sambit Patra has done a great homework on Dr. Manmohan Singh. Only if Mr. Modi had done his homework on this policy and how it should unfold, we wouldn't be in this mess. There is no ego fight here. There is no prestige issue here. All we are saying is that the Prime Minister of India has destroyed the rural economy, has destroyed the farmers' future, has destroyed the class of people who today cannot vote for him on the Modi app because they don't have a smartphone. You have destroyed the lives of the people who don't have digital connectivity. It does not matter what urban India says. Please pay attention to rural India. That's where Prime Minister Modi has gone wrong, despite all his wisdom in which the people of India have reposed their faith. That's all we are saying.
Indeed. Indeed. Hold your thoughts there, because I want to get D. Raja back into this discussion. And actually, I'm going to come back to you, Sambit. I promise I'm going to come back to you. But Mr. Raja, you have legally challenged this move. You've moved the Supreme Court on this. I'm just being the devil's advocate. Do you not believe that unprecedented times need unprecedented decisions? And so what is the legality on which you're actually challenging this in the courts? Mr. Raja?
No, the point is, in one all-party meeting, the Finance Minister, Mr. Arun Jaitley, claimed there was necessity to maintain absolute secrecy. This is one. Secondly, he said the government was fully prepared. Now I can ask you, I can ask any well-meaning, informed person in this country, does the situation show that government was fully prepared or is fully prepared? Look at the queues in the country before Reserve Bank branches or other bank branches. Even today in Delhi Reserve Bank, there is a queue. Even now there is a queue. Some people can go and see. Still there is a queue. What I am saying, even in Parliament, State Bank of India branch, they do not have 50 rupee notes or 10 rupee notes, and whatever 100 rupee notes they have, they are all soiled notes. How far the employees can count or the customers can count them, that's all different thing. What I am trying to say, government was not prepared adequately, number one. Number two, even to replace the demonetized 500 rupee note, 1000 rupee note, I don't think 50 days are enough. It can take several months or several years, considering the capacity of printing press in our country. So the government was not fully prepared. This is one issue. And the legal issue is, when the Parliament has been summoned for winter session, the government made this policy announcement. They could have waited for the Parliament. And even in 1978, when Morarji Desai government did it, they did it through an ordinance. Then Morarji Desai government had to go for a legislation on this issue. Now this government has done it through executive order. These are all certain legal constitutional matters Many, as you said, there are appeals before the courts of law in our country, and let us wait how the courts are going to look at these issues.
Sambit, I have time for two last questions, one with you and one, of course, with Sushmita there. But at one level, and I don't really buy the argument that the parliament could have been taken into confidence. This had to be an exercise done in secrecy. So pardon me there, Mr. Raja. But Sambit, the fear also is that the whole demonetization exercise unleashes the state on a citizen in the name of patriotism, in the name of good virtue. My accounts could be scanned. The taxman could be calling for the deposits I've made. There is that fear in the common masses that will the state be on my doorstep?
Not at all. I mean, let me in fact demolish this kind of myth that the state would be at the doorstep of a common man trying to pry into common man's life. This is absolutely unfounded, and let me demolish it over here. Number one, in fact, Sushmita ji was saying that Mr. Modi did not take into account the rural populace. In fact, he was only concerned about the digital world. Let me first demolish this by saying that no, we are not expecting a complete cashless society. This is just the initial step towards the cashless society. We know. I mean, like the bigger economies in this world, their cash to the GDP ratio is somewhere around 4%. In India, it is 12% to 14%. Naturally, we expect to bring it down somewhere that we can have a booming economy. We are not saying that we'll completely go cashless. So the farmers, the ones who are not digitalized, the people in the unorganized sector need not be worried. But I have one question for Dr. D. Raja as well. I mean, since he is in the left and they have been voicing the concerns as us about the minimum wages. For instance, if we have digital salary to the people concerned, to the unorganized sector, which is quite possible, so he should be very happy because the contractors are the one who in fact were living atrocities on these workers, on these laborers, taking away their money. And these laborers used to get money only on papers and not on their accounts. Today we'll have the money in the accounts. He should be happy on this count. And remember, there was a day, as pointed out by Mr. Arun Jaitley, when the country did not expect that every hand in this country would have a mobile phone. Well, yes, every hand in this country may not have a smart mobile phone today, but definitely almost every home today has a mobile phone. Similarly, the day is not far when the country would become digitalized. I am repeating my words. We are not expecting a cashless society, a cashless country overnight. This is just the first step. And remember, you also pointed out, Supriya, the surprise element is extremely important. So to say that an ordinance should have been brought during Morarji Desai's period in 1978, the issue was different. The cash that was demonetized formed only 0.8% of the GDP. It was only a small portion that was affected. Yes. Today it is 86%,
Today it's 86%.
Of the cash that we are talking about. Yes, 86% of the cash that you're talking about. So the issues cannot be non-comparable at all, 78 and 2016. So it could not have been discussed naturally with the opposition. And I believe that this is the point of count in the opposition. This is the point of worry with the opposition, that they should have been informed so that they could have made all the necessary arrangements. Right. I don't know which arrangements. They're more worried arrangements for the people or their own arrangements.
Sambit, I don't know, some people in your party seem to suggest as well that the political class should have been kept in information. But I'll let the opposition have the last word on this. And Sushmita Dev, the question is that the Prime Minister will intervene. If it's not tomorrow, then on Monday, when, of course, before the Finance Minister does reply to this entire debate. Will that settle the matter? Or will the opposition continue to relentlessly take this outside of Parliament? Legislative business, do you believe, can take off within Parliament and the opposition can continue outside of it?
Supriya, it's very simple. This problem will continue till the crisis continues. What we do in Parliament, what we do outside Parliament will unfold gradually. But we can only hope that in a country where 60% of our population earns $2 a day can survive those 50 days. And that's the point Dr. Manmohan Singh was making. We are the 4th largest economy in terms of PPP, and you've sucked out 86% of the cash. Now, is that good wisdom? Is that good economics? Only time will tell, and we will stand by the common man in this 50 days and beyond. And you can be sure that we'll keep this government under immense pressure till they get their act together. I mean, only time will tell what happens. But we can tell you this much, that we are not going to let this government get away with murder.
All right, not going to get this government get away with murder. But on that note, thank you very much for this fiery exchange between Sushmita Dev, Sambit, Patra and of course D. Raja. We appreciate you taking time out and joining us this evening on an issue that India is clearly keeping its ears and eyes very close to. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. Thanks viewers for tuning in. News and updates follow right here on ET Now.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.